Hey guys, this is Derek Mazer, and we're going to be talking about starting a saltwater aquarium. Just to start, has anyone ever kept a tank before? Freshwater, saltwater, reef tank, all fish, all invertebrate tank. Alright, okay. So then, talk about aquariums first. You're going to want to purchase a tank. You can get tanks for free from friends, Craigslist, or you can go and buy a new tank. Something you want to keep in mind is for older tanks, they might not hold water, so you want to always fill it with just regular water from your spigot just to make sure that it does hold water. And you can buy nano tanks, regular size tanks, or large tanks. The easiest to keep would be regular tanks, 30 to 225 gallon tanks. That's the normal, and it's the easiest to take care of. You know, the more water you have, the less chaotic it is. Your nano tanks are under 30 gallons, and they're going to be the hardest to keep. You're going to need a lot of maintenance because it's more chaotic. The parameters will jump on you if you don't keep up with your daily and weekly maintenance. And then your large tanks are just hard because they're very expensive and they limit you in areas of your home that you can keep them. When you're buying a new saltwater system, you want to buy the correct filter. There's 3 types of filtration: biological, chemical, and mechanical. Some utilize all 3, some use just one, some use multiple ones. Your biological filter will be first, your live rock. That holds beneficial bacteria, that breaks down detritus in the tank, and also filters out the water. You could also have some type of sump system, which would include a refugium holding macroalgae, and that macroalgae will take out unwanted nutrients from the tank. Your chemical filters would be dosing and different additives to combat high nutrient levels, something like phosphates or nitrates, or something where you have pH issues. You can boost or lower the pH over time. You can also dose if you're holding different types of corals. And mechanical filters are something like on the left here, a hang on the back filter, or something called a canister filter. And those will include some type of filter floss pads, foam pads, or bio balls. And they're basically mechanical type filtration that catch detritus and unwanted particles or unwanted nutrients in the tank, and you have to change those pads out every so many weeks or every week depending on your maintenance schedule. Once you get those solved, you'll want to buy live rock, and the goal is to have about a pound per gallon. So if you have a 50-gallon tank, about 50 pounds of live rock. Now you want to buy live rock that you like, and there's porous types and there's non-porous types. So although it does matter on weight, it more matters on the porousness of the rock. The more porous, the better. You can buy live rock, live dry rock, or dry rock. Live rock would be live, and you buy it from your local reef store or someone that you know. Keep it in water and transport it to your home, and you can put it in your aquarium without a large amount of die-off of things living on that rock. Now if you buy a live dry rock, that live rock will be dried, and most things on there will be dead. So you're going to have die-off if you put it in your tank. So you're going to have to cure that live rock. So there's many videos you can look up on curing rock. It takes about a month or so, depending on how much rock that you have. And then it would be safe to place in your tank without a large amount of die-off and something that throws off a lot of your parameters. And then you can buy dry rock, which is the cheapest route to go, maybe even the safest route to go. And that rock was never live, so you can just place it in your tank. Now I wouldn't place a lot of dry rock in an established tank, but you can slowly add rock. But if you have a new tank, you can just put it in there. And if you have a new tank with nothing live in it, you can place all 3 of these types in your tank without any problems, because it'd have to go through the cycling process first. And something to keep in mind would be that you don't want any rock to touch the sides of the glass. When you're first placing rock in, you want to have it touch the bottom of the glass, but not the sides. Once you're done with that, you can add sand. There's fine sand and coarse sand. Fine sand's going to have smaller granule sizes. Coarse will be a little bit bigger. You can mix the two or keep one or the other. Sands usually come in a whitish color or a blackish tone color. I like to keep it white just because it's more natural, but it depends on what type of tank you want to set up. You can keep a 1 to 2 inch sand bed. That's normal and the easiest to maintain, and gives you a diverse amount of species you can keep. You can also keep a deep sand bed, which is 3 to 7 inches, and it's a lot harder to maintain. You could also run a bare bottom tank with nothing, no sand, because sand's really aesthetic and you don't really need sand. But you're going to limit yourself with types of species you can keep inside that tank. Once you do that, you can fill your tank with water. You're going to use RODI water. You can buy that in stores, used under distilled, or you could buy it from your local aquarium store. And you can buy all types of different sand, or salt, or water, I should say. You can buy instant ocean salt or Red Sea salt. Depends on what you like. There's many different types. You're going to want to pre-mix salt in buckets and then add it to your tank if you have an established tank. But if it's a new tank, you can add water first and then add your salt to the tank. And then it'll mix inside that tank since nothing is alive. You're going to keep your salinity around 20 to 35 parts per thousand. And you're going to end up probably doing 10% weekly water changes depending on what you keep in the tank. Once you have all that figured out, you're going to cycle your tank. You'll probably test it weekly, maybe even daily, depending on how you are and how comfortable you are with the cycling process. I usually add a raw shrimp to kick off the start of the cycling process. It takes around 1 to 2 months. The first thing you're going to notice is ammonia rise for a week or so, maybe even 2, and then it's going to decrease, and then your nitrites are going to rise for about a month, and then they will slowly decrease. Once they decrease, your nitrates will rise. And the only way to remove nitrates is by water change. So you'll change about 25% of the water, give or take, and check your parameters. And if they're good, then the cycling process is complete. And that's when you can start to add fish. Now, when you're adding fish in inverts, what I would do would be to add fish first. And hardy fish, maybe clownfish, damselfish, cardinal fish, types of gobies. It depends on what you want to keep in the tank. After that, I would wait about a week or so and then start to slowly add inverts. And inverts will feed mainly on waste and algae. So you're going to want to give your tank time to create waste and algae before you add inverts so they don't starve. And you want to recognize your bioload. So depending on your tank size, you want to have a good amount of livestock in the tank, but not too much to where it creates a burden on yourself maintenance-wise and creates unwanted parameters or nutrients tank-wise. And any questions for me? You can comment any questions. I'll be happy to answer anything. And these are my resources. Thank you guys for watching.